the virtues and sins. Lenten season is meant for us to perhaps to build up our virtues in some way. At the same time, discard our sins and sinful tendencies. We have the 7 capital sins: the sin of pride, the sin of avarice, the sin of envy, the sin of lust, the sin of anger. They are the 7 sins. They call them capital sins because they do a capital damage. They damage the whole structure of our life and of Christianity. And many of them pull us so low that it's very difficult to come out. And therefore we call them capital sins. Last week I spoke about pride, and this week I speak about greed. Greed. You know what's greed? Greed is wanting to have more and more, more and more. And it's not only eating, but also having possessions, money. These are all the things that I want to have more and more, and I'm not satisfied even when I have more. It kills the possibility of a human relationship because I'm obsessed of getting money. I'm obsessed of getting that particular property. I'm obsessed of getting those things for me. Those gadgets for me. Or perhaps one particular thing, my whole mind and my whole soul is in that I'm restless till I get it. This is called the greed. Obsessed with getting more and more. Never satisfied. An excessive desire. Excessive, I call it. Surely there are some people who would like to have money. Or perhaps I would like to have a mobile. I would like to have some land and perhaps a house. These are normal feelings of us, but excessive. I was just reading the newspaper or some magazine that day, and a small news listing that a person killed his own mother. For what? The father had died long ago and had left all the property in the name of the mother, and the mother was supposed to distribute it to her children, share it with her children, and perhaps one of the sons did not get what he expected, and therefore he kills his mother in order to perhaps to show his revenge and also usurp also that particular property perhaps as his own. We don't stop. There are no stops. And many people have said that people become mad with this excessive greed. And the opposite of greed is sharing with others. It is generosity to the others, that we can give to the others. And before that, we see in the gospel, the parable of the rich fool. That fool who has got everything, but then suddenly he gets an idea that why not get some more things, and therefore he fills his barns with wheat and with storing of all the grains that he says, and he has filled it so much, and he said to himself and says, I can now rest in peace. I can live my life as it is. And the parable says, God spoke to him, fool, this night you will die. And whose will it be, all this that you have collected? Perhaps that is what is the end of what we call the greed. Many of the people who have collected, who have been so stingy and added to their wealth or to the others one, do not live to see what they have collected. In many cases, their sons or their dependents just finish off or perhaps just sort of throw off what they have gained with so much trouble in a lifetime. So therefore, we are warned of this greed in a very special way. And in this greed, as it were, we become blind. St. Paul tells in 1 Timothy chapter 6 verse 10, the love of money is the root cause of all the evils. Money perhaps, or even excessive gathering of things, articles, is an excessive root cause of all evils. And all evils comes from greed. And therefore greed is considered as one of the most important capital sins, perhaps even capitalizing on the other sins, because of greed you do many other evil things. With greed you are ready to kill. With greed perhaps you are ready to do anything that is wrong and false in order to satisfy yourself. With greed, you become blind. You become insensitive. So therefore, I would make this reflection so that if any of you perhaps are slaves of greed, we could take a second thought as to what we are doing, where we are going. On the other hand, I said generosity. Generosity we can share with the others. Perhaps God will never abandon us. God will still look after us. And if I share with somebody, I don't lose everything. Mahatma Gandhi used to say, there is enough in the world for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. Need and greed are the two things. The need is common among us. We need to share. Greed is something special, or perhaps something that is of weakness of certain persons that makes people destroy each other. What do we say today about this war between Russia and Ukraine? The nations that are greedy to grab each other's borders, each other's territories, each other's things, and they are so mad that life does not matter, destruction does not matter, centuries of traditions don't matter. It's the blindness, it's the hard-heartedness of the greed that matters much more. So my dear friends, I leave it at this. May it be a good week for you as we go week after week in the Lenten season, walking towards Easter, the glory of Jesus Christ. Thank you.